We are on Bloor Street right now, which is one of the most prominent, if not the most prominent, retail luxury shopping area in the city. Toronto is starting to remind me a lot like Edmonton, where we have Louis Vuitton on Bloor Street with a standalone store, and down the road there is Holt Renfrew, which has a Louis Vuitton inside of their store. In my opinion, these two stores are the glue that holds this whole place together, and it's very reminiscent, eerily similar to that of downtown Edmonton, where the departure of the Louis Vuitton from within the Holt Renfrew resulted in the absolute destruction of the entire downtown. Should either of these stores leave Bloor Street, in my opinion, the entire street's going to crumble. Since I arrived here in Toronto, I have witnessed mass destruction of the street happen store by store by store, and mainstream media has not reported on this at all. So no one knows. People don't pay attention. They just carry on and walk by as if nothing's changed, when almost the entire street has changed since I arrived here in September of 2020. In Edmonton, Louis Vuitton was the one that made the first move. They chose to vacate their store within the store of Holt Renfrew, and it resulted in mass closures of every single store downtown, with the few remaining banks and phone companies. That's what we're left with, just a shell of what it used to be. And that's going to happen here on Bloor. That's going to happen here on Bloor. We're going to witness all of these stores along Bloor Street close, one by one by one, and they might get replaced by a new tenant that tries to make a go at it, but it won't work any better than the last one did. So the next tenant has no clue, and they just sign the lease, trusting in the system, trusting in the landlord that they're going to be able to pay the rent based on the traffic that's here on Bloor Street. And there is a lot of traffic, and lots of people walk by, but most of them don't have any bags, and they're not going in and out of these stores. So if that's not happening, the rent isn't going to be paid, and the tenant is going to leave. So if people aren't going in and out of these stores, the stores aren't making the sales, and the rent won't be paid, and the cycle continues. And the store might think that they can move to a better location within the shopping strip, but it doesn't matter. One location is really no better than the next location, and I learned that being inside the biggest mall that I was in. I had the best location, and it wasn't the best location for sales. One of the most prominent corners in the shopping mall was where I was. It didn't matter. People aren't walking in, and they're not buying your product. You're not making sales. You can't pay rent. You're kicked out. And then what do? You're jobless. You're homeless. And they take everything from you. And they're ruthless. They don't care. So then you move here thinking you can start fresh, start over, do this again, and you realize it's exactly the same. Nothing's changed. You'd be a fool to sign a lease like the optical store and all the others that tried and failed. And they all did their best. It didn't matter. It doesn't matter what you sell on this street, unless it's food, perhaps. It's most likely not going to pay the rent. Perhaps some of these luxury stores might be able to, but they're competing with their other luxury stores in other places that the sales could be a lot stronger in. And if they have the the desire to get rid of a store, this would most likely be where it would happen. So in my opinion, this is a 911 here, and nobody's talking on it. This space has been vacant the entire time I've been here. And so has the Kidneys. They haven't had a tenant. So this is how the destruction of an area, a shopping mall, takes place. When you start to lose your anchors, like the bay, it all starts to crumble on you. And the bay was here when I arrived, and it vacated this location. In Edmonton, it was the reverse. Renfrew left first, and the bay left after. And now it's a ghost town in downtown Edmonton. So this is a very similar setup. We have the same stores, only this time it's outside. So this time, everyone's gonna see it happen. There's no curtain called a mall to cover the destruction when the news, CBC, is right in the mall and does not report on this. There is no curtain of mall walls. Everybody will see as this happens and unfolds. They'll see all these stores close. They already have. But there's gonna come a time where the gig is going to be up and everyone's going to know that it doesn't matter what you sell. Here, your odds of success are very unlikely. And right here on this corner, it used to be the Gap when I got here. And I believe the Gap was here for 30 years and it closed, and now we have Aloe here. Trying to make it smart, trying to get some sales and make a go of it. And I'm sure they signed quite the long-term lease, 5 years perhaps. Maybe more. And those guys couldn't do it. So this is the Holt Renfrew on Bloor Street. This is the glue that holds this whole place together. Eerily reminiscent of downtown Edmonton. History repeats itself. As soon as I got here, I began reporting on the mass destruction of Bloor Street. I also filmed Queen Street. I haven't done a video on that yet. It'll be interesting to see how the destruction on Queen Street plays out. But I have it all documented. That's what these people don't like. They don't like me telling the truth that the retail industry is in such a mess. And it doesn't matter what you sell in the clothing industry, your odds of making it are very unlikely. And you'd be foolish to sign a lease with any shopping center as a tenant. The tenants don't know that because the media doesn't report on that. And so they just keep signing these leases and then realizing almost immediately after they walk in that it was a mistake and they regret doing so. But it doesn't matter at that point. The landlord does what it does and gives you your termination notice, and that's it. And there go your dreams. Just just like that. Media is very negligent in reporting on this. The developers have a grasp on all the retail properties. And even when they do report on it, it's very brief. They'll just admit the store closes and where it's located and where its other stores are located, and very, very brief. So this area here looks like it's gonna have a Lululemon going in. Thinking Lululemon's gonna save the day. I doubt that's going to happen. We do have Nordstrom rack here. This was the bay. Has not been leased yet. And I have not heard of any up and coming development plans for this building. But they have covered up the logo with this banner. Maybe hoping people don't get reminded of what used to be here and what it is now.